What's up, everybody? So it is that time of year, and yes, we do have a Kubota in here. I just thought you might actually like to watch this video. I've got to do some work to a Kubota tractor because it's coming up on mowing season here very soon, within the next month or so. So I thought, hey, you know what, it's time to get it ready. So let's go ahead and dive right in, and I'll show you what we got going on. Okay, so what I'm going to do, go ahead and pull the screen out of it. Get this out of the way because I'm going to pull the radiator. Now there's a bolt right here, here. I can get to this one with the impact. And I'm going to be careful when I do that because sometimes these are kind of stuck and I don't want it rusted. But the rest of them looks like I'm going to have to get with the socket. I won't put that in there, but they are all coming loose, which is good. All right, there's two, and there is another one way down in here. See if you can see this one. A little jewel right there, and then there's one just like it on the other side. So once it starts coming loose, I'll reach in there and spin it out with my fingers, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. All right, now we'll go around to the other side and get it out. All right, so I did want to let you guys know that there is a little key right there on the bottom of the radiator on this side over here, on this model. And then, like I said, there's going to be a little bit of stuff on here that's going to obscure it a little bit, but once it's loose it should start sliding right up out of there. I was hoping it would slide free, but it's not. So let's get this tank out of the way, and then I can slide the cage around the radiator forward and get it out. Okay, so I'll show you what we had to do. So basically I had to take all that out just to be able to get to work on this. And since we got to have all this apart anyway, we will go ahead and replace this belt. So might as well do it all while we got it apart, since the water pump is definitely bad in it. But now we know. So let's go ahead and get this thing done. Now I'm going to go ahead and loosen the clamps up here on the hoses going up to the water pump. Hopefully they'll come loose. Looks like they did. And since we're doing all that, we'll replace all the belts and everything else, and hoses, and that way it just never has to be done again. All right, now we will wiggle this thing off there after I get all the bolts out of it. Take the little bypass hose off of it. So we have a new one of those as well. So the bypass is loose. Make sure it's broken loose. There we go. And these should be 4 or 5 10 millimeter bolts. Yep. There's one here. So once you get these out, basically what I'm going to do is I'll just pry the water pump away from it, twist it, pull it out of the hose, and then I'll pull the hose out and reassemble it the same way. And I'm going to lay these bolts out in case they're different lengths. If they're not, I'm not going to worry about it, but I think this one might be a little bit longer. So let's go ahead and get this thing apart. All right, so we've got everything out of the way. I went ahead and pulled this little tube off down here as well. Now I'm going to clean that, and we'll go ahead and get ready to put the new water pump on, bolt it on, then we'll put everything back together. Yay! And note, I just wanted to say this, you know, we call it Rods and Rifles, but I don't know why we don't say Rods to Rifles, because, well, I mean, honestly, what do we not work on? But it's just part of it. Anyway, let's get this tractor done. All right, so this is the Kubota belt itself. Let's go ahead and check it, make sure it's the same length. Should be, yep, sure is. Actually, the old one's a little longer because it's stretched, and worn pretty bad. But you saw how I did it. I just picked this up, got it worked in between the two, get it back here out of the way, and then start your bolts back in it. All right, so at least that part's done. Now when we go back on with it, we'll loosen that. We'll loosen the dynamo over here. Water pump will already be in place, and it'll go right back on. So let's get these tightened up, and then we'll get the water pump on it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get this thing tightened up. That one's tight-ish. Okay. All right, everything's tight. Everything is the way it should be. Now let's go ahead and get the hoses on it, and we can start reassembling the radiator and all that good stuff. All right, so I went ahead and bought new clamps, or actually we got new clamps to put on this thing. So that way, and I'm going to put them all to where we can get to them fairly easily in the event something were to happen. Because the clamps that were on this, I'll just be honest, we're getting kind of rusty and crusty, so. All right, there's that. Now we've got the lower. Why do they always cut them a little short? I don't understand that, but okay. It is what it is. Now, I'm not going to tighten this one down just quite yet. And I'll show you why, because when I go to put it on there, I'll tighten it down on the radiator. And then I'll tighten it down on here. I'll adjust it where I want it. But I am, however, going to make sure I got a clamp on it. Like I said, not super tight. The other clamp should go right there, and then I will find over here. I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm going to slide it up onto this little jewel. Get situated here, get it up on there where I want it. All right. Got it pretty tight with that, but still needs a little more. So I'll take this, cinch it on down. All right, let me squeeze my hand down in here and get this thing tightened up. If you hadn't noticed, it's a bit of a tight squeeze. All right, that was tight. All right, that was tight. Oh, golly. Tight. Okay. All right, they're all tight. Whew, wow. Now we can push this back up in here. start the bolts in it. Now we've got to go to the bottom. I've got to move the camera out of the way and tighten them up on the bottom, which are right down there. All right, since I'm right here on this side, I went ahead and shoved the radiator hose on it, so let's go ahead and tighten it down. Now we can put this other bolt in up here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. That'll hold it steady. See the bolt? It'll hold it. Now let's go have some fun on the other side. All right, now we just got to tighten the shroud down. So let's do that, and then I'll get the coolant overflow back on it. We should be in a pretty good spot. All right, now it's coolant time. Let's put some coolant in this bad boy and, well, hopefully it doesn't leak. And my funnel is just a little large for that. So I'm gonna have to hold on to it as I pour. Well, I did exactly what I didn't really want to do, but that's why we have water hoses. Now let's go down here and check for leaks. I don't see anything. New hoses, new everything. And we're good. So now we can start on the front seal on this beast, and we'll put the mower deck on after that. All right, let's give this thing a go. So no leaks, and that's what we were looking for. So I said everything is dry, everything is good. Like I said, if it was leaking, it would already have told me. I need to go ahead and check the antifreeze and see if it pulled some more down in it. I would assume it would. No, not really. So it's actually in pretty good shape right now. I'm gonna back it up. That way I can get some of this stuff cleaned up, and then I can put the front seal in it, and then we'll put the mower deck back on it. So I said mower deck. I don't know what I'm thinking today, but anyway, the mower deck back on it. Yes, let's go.